Brodes Media.
Yeah, what's happening, everybody? A big walk-off for your Fightins. We're going to break it all down. First, if you're new, hey, what's up? We like to get a little crazy over here about, the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button and join the family here. Also, hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. And if you are interested in more Brodes Media content, there are memberships right here on YouTube. For a price of $4.99 a month, you get access to 8 live streams a month, 2 times a week. Coffee with Brodes, right here. And we kick it. We have our coffee together. And you also get access to our Discord channel as well. So if you're interested, that is a possibility for you. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much and enjoy the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Brodes. I'm thinking the same thing you are. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to shut this dirty little mouth of mine because it gets me in trouble. I'm going to zip it, and I'm going to wait for the next 2 games to play out before I potentially tell you my stance. I was actually pondering throughout the evening, wondering if I would wait until the 7 games are complete in South Philly. And maybe I still do. It's a day-by-day case. I'm going to see how I feel in the moment. And maybe after Houston, we'll get an update. Maybe not, though. Forget it. Shut up, Brodes. Stop talking about it and get into the actual action, okay? Relax. I will. Terrific start to the homestand. Bryce Harper versus Josh Hader, with the game on the line. Ew. Bryce attacks early. Not playing around. And I think he was doing it for Joel. Because Joel's battery on his phone had to be, 3% with all the moments he was trying to capture? All right, we don't have a long 10th in us. I think I heard him beat and the mic picked it up. Guy was just trying to get something for his Instagram story. I don't know. But Bryce did a lot in this effort. He played magnificent defense late over at first base with flash in the leather. And he also had the double that helped tie the game up 2-2. Working his ass off to get to second base. He wasn't the only one to stand out. What I really liked about this win was how team-oriented it was. Wheeler gives you the 6 strong, and then your bullpen, all 4 names, electric. Kerkering, solid stuff. Hoffman, Estevez, and Matt Strom, with the help of Rojas, too, out in center field. And I can't pretend like Brandon Marsh's opposite field danger didn't help out huge. It wasn't all pretty. He did fail in the 6th. Bohm failed in the 7th, looking at an at-bat that was a hell of a battle. JT grounded out into a double play in the 4th. And don't even get me started with some of the sloppiness Houston had, and the Phillies didn't counter with any sort of punch. Bryson Stott should have been picked off when he was on the bases. Instead, the ball's flying all over the place. He gets extra bags. And there was also the Pena error on Trey Turner's double play ball, which helped keep an inning alive. These are chances you gotta go. These are chances, especially with Zach Wheeler on the mound. Your ace, your stud. Someone who, if he's able to work with the commanding lead, and you could tell that the Astros are feeling sorry for themselves because they just pissed all over their legs when they were trying to make standard plays. And you got to try to hit Wheeler? Yeah, okay. Even if he's walking a few, which is uncharacteristic for Wheels, it's still extremely difficult. So if the Phillies could have punched first and hard with how the Astros were playing, I would have loved it. But I'll give them a ton of credit because being down 2-0, they just chipped away. The opposite field homer. How many times have we seen this team go down and then there's no fight afterwards? For a while now, it gets dead. We say the same couple of phrases almost every night. Lifeless, no pulse, no urgency. That wasn't the case here. They put their head down, they went to work, and they kept going. And when they needed it most, their superstar delivered. I just can't believe Kyle made it. I thought that dude was looking for an inhaler after he got across home plate. You know, looking at the dugout, trying to make sure someone could toss him something to save his life. Kyle, running. Not always comfortable. Get the dub, though. Get the dub. Name of the game. Taiwan. We got an update on that. Do I even? Nah, you know what? No. Now's not the time. Now's not the time. What we need to do is continue sharing the love for the really solid win that we just saw happen. And I think it truly can set a tone for, at least before we get to Atlanta and whatever happens when they come and visit, let's just strictly talk about these 3 games. Winning a start with Zach Wheeler in the fashion that you did, let's flip the script for half a second just so you can put it in perspective. What if you lost your studs start? And your only offense the whole time was a Brandon Marsh solo shot the other way, and you go down 2-1. That would be so disappointing. That would be so upsetting. So now the morale is at a higher high. You're winning 2 games against Kansas City with an explosive offense right before this thing kicked off. And now you keep the feel-good mojo grooving. And you're supposed to win these games with wheels. And if you don't, that's almost a smack in the face. And it puts a lot of pressure on others in your rotation. And I'm cool with demanding a lot from Aaron Nola. I'm all right if you want to put a ton of expectations, even in Ranger, following his one and only start since returning back from his little stint. And with Christopher Sanchez, I'm all good with it. I'm not trying to make it seem like Zach Wheeler is the one that gets the extreme level of emphasis and then others can go however they please throughout their little journey because Wheeler's got it. No, I need Nola too. I need Ranger too. I need Sanchez too. But you're supposed to be the bleeding stopper. You're supposed to be the one where if things are getting really tough, when he's on the mound, he settles everyone down. And that's what we got. So I just want to highlight the importance of that when you're looking at a 3-game set that you have to win. You have to win this series. It's a must. There is little time. It's going to be September before you know it. So forget about all that nonsense now of there's a lot of games left. I've realized that the trigger went off in my mind that that's no longer an excuse. That's no longer a real description of what the season is. This is time to get ready for the playoffs. This is time to turn up the heat. And if you can't handle it now, then I question if you're going to be able to handle it when the heat is even rising 5 times this much, even with your damn track record. All right? I'm sick of the last 60-something games. You guys have a special lineup. You can really kill teams on a night-to-night basis. And it's time to get back to that. And Wheeler helped you out. Your bullpen helped you out. Your defense helped you out. And then a good mix of that bottom of the lineup feel and your top guys. With Nick giving you an RBI, with Bryce and his big stuff. Trey Turner had a few knocks. Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh. That's what we're talking about. When Stott and Marsh both look terrible and god-awful, And then you have others down at the bottom of your lineup, your big deadline acquisition, Austin Hayes. If all three of them are brutal, it affects everything. And same applies to Bryce and Trey and some of the other big names. When this team does their best work, it is a collective unit, no matter how they were built. Because sometimes, me included, I'll put my hand up, we definitely go back to the way that they were supposed to win. And it's because they have all these big contracts with very powerful weapons in your order. That's why you got to go down with that being it. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore. I think it's got to be a collective unit. And you might think that sounds silly, like obviously, right? You need a ton of different phases to win, especially against good teams. But for a while there, it was, and I'm even looking at the whole lineup. It's not just on Trey, Bryce, Kyle, Nick in the top 4 of your batting order. The way this team is going to succeed is everything clicking in that order. That's what it's going to take. It can't be a major slumping Stott and an overmatched Brandon Marsh. It's got to all form together. And I think we got a taste of that in a night where it wasn't overwhelming, but it was timely. It shows you the importance, though, because even in grinded out style wins where you're not putting up 9, 8, 7 runs, and it's more along the lines of you got to win a 2-1 game, you got to win a 3-2 game, you got to get clutch hits. Well, now we can rely on part of the daycare. We haven't had the luxury of relying on the daycare in months. So essentially, I'm just trying to put it full circle on why maybe we can see something a little different with the uniqueness of this team lately. And it's the whole clubhouse clicking at one time. I just hope it continues. All right, let's take some anytime hotline calls. Let's hear from the people.
Yo, bro, it's your boy Nolan. Hey, I love it. 3 wins in a row against some, really good teams. Bryce needed that, man. Bryce needed that one so bad. I'm glad, he was able to come through. Tough pitching matchup tonight, but Phillies pulled it out, man. Good. I'm just happy. I want to keep it going. I'm not getting too excited. I'm just happy at us pulling this one out and winning this game. Strahm was huge. Jeff Hoffman was huge. Even Wills, man, he did what he needed to do. So good win for the Phils. Let's keep it going.
Major win for the Phils. I really despise the energy around the fans right now. And it's not our fault. It's the team's fault for playing as poorly as they have. And we are reacting accordingly to that. But it really does sting that when it's 6 o'clock, when it's 5:40 and you're anticipating first pitch, you almost go into the night knowing that it's going to be a long one or it's going to be a rough one or I don't know how this is going to play out because I'm not feeling very lovely about my team currently. And I hate that. I want them to be must-watch. Remember when they were on that crazy run, no matter if it was the Rockies, no matter if it was a team that maybe wasn't necessarily a, quote, good opponent, they were so dominant and they were putting together such good strings of baseball runs that you had to sit down every single night and you couldn't wait. When it was 1:10 in the afternoon, you go, what? It's not 6:40 yet? And then you look what feels like it was 5 hours later and you go, wow, how is it only 2:45? It's been an hour and 35 minutes. It felt like it's been 7 because all you want to do is watch this team compete and take the diamond. And let alone if you actually had tickets to go to the ballpark and see it firsthand and see with your own set of eyeballs. So that used to be what it was. No matter who ew, it could be the worst team ever assembled with not one household name on it, and it's a bunch of bums and essentially a AAA roster. But because Ranger Suarez was going and Alec Boehm's on a 15-game hitting streak and Bryce Harper has 2 home runs in his last 2 games, so I'm saying 4 total in 2 games, and everybody is cooking. It's the best. It's the best. And now I walk in every night going, oh, please, is my sanity going to be intact? I don't know how long I can do this. You bring up an excellent point, though. Bryce Harper. This team needs Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has won a few NL Player of the Weeks, or excuse me, was it Player of the Months? Excuse me. So he has a few accolades this year. I just haven't felt, regardless of what the box score says, because I remember we actually looked this up. A few of those months when he won NL Player of the Month, those numbers are like, whoa, that's extreme. He won it for a reason, so they're very loud, and they make a big stance, truly. But I'm talking about the night-to-night feel again. And no time this year have I been given that holy shit, Bryce Harper is a fucking Martian. Not that level of terror. We've had really good play, and it's probably been more consistent when he was winning those accolades. So the obnoxiousness of elite baseball isn't the same compared to if you just put together fantastic ball after fantastic ball after fantastic ball. You might think this sounds stupid too, because you're almost saying this guy's too consistent when he's up and when he's down. He's essentially what everybody is that you hate about this team. And Trey, either MVP or can't do anything. Nick, either wow, he's putting together solid at-bats or flailing at pitches away. So pick one, idiot. And it does kind of feel that way too, honestly, even for myself. I'm saying all this to get to, can we get a September that is so absurd it doesn't even make sense out of Bryce? I want one of those months, especially heading right into the most important time where maybe teams will get nervous to face us again. I want the 420 month. Okay. I want him to hit 435 in the month of September. You get my point. I also like how you brought up the bullpen, though, because sometimes they get lost in the sauce. And I want to also make a little claim here. I'm not fully bought in yet, but I am feeling better about Kerkering. And I'm a little nervous to make that public service announcement because I feel the moment I put 2 feet in, that's when the catastrophe happens, and then I got to end up taking a few steps back again. And then I'll say, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have trusted myself. So there's a bit of me that wonders, all right, do we have something here in Kerkering that's maybe a little more reliable than I gave him credit for? I'll tell you what else is reliable, and that's my friend at Chris Gates Fitness. Today's show is sponsored by his online fitness training camp at Chris Gates Fitness. The training camp community is fantastic and designed specifically for sports fans to help you get results with your health and fitness without cutting out everything that you love, like drinking beer and tailgating for football games this fall. You get brand new workout programs every month so you can achieve your goals. Fitness challenges every month to help push you to develop healthy habits. There's challenges within the training camp community where you can compete and win awesome prizes like free supplements from Legion Athletics. And in September, there's going to be a step count challenge where you can win a free walk pad treadmill if you're the winner. If you sign up with promo code Brodes, you will get 50% off the first month. All you got to do is visit chrisgatesfitness.com Postgame.com/training camp or click the link in the description to learn more. And you can sign up today using promo code Brodes. Do not forget 50% off your first month. There's also access to live Q&As, and there's an outstanding support from the community. Everyone's trying to encourage you every step of the way. Chris Gates Fitness, don't be a fool. Check it out now. Okay, back to the phones we go, and we will go to Amadeo.
Okay, that's how you – a great way to win a ball game. 3 wins in a row. Fantastic stuff. You know, offensively you had many chances today, but your pitching, held firm. And Zach Wheeler, he battled basically throughout the entire game. I don't think he was off or anything like that. The Astros bats were just literally fouling everything off, but he still managed to give you a quality start and go 6 innings, only 2 earned runs allowed. And the bullpen was absolutely fantastic. Kerkering, Hoffman, Estevez, Strom in the 10th especially, helped out by his defense. That was absolutely huge there to even give your team a chance to win the game in the bottom of the 9th inning. And find ways to win. That's what you were doing the entirety of the first half. Besides, your domination of the first half, you were also finding ways to win games. And that's what this team was really lacking in this second half. And this is probably one of the better wins in a while. Granted, it was a very low-scoring affair, but the way they find to grind it out, the way they find a way to be gutsy and get the walk-off, and also because it's Bryce Harper walking the game off in the 10th inning against Josh Hader, I think that also can't be, go quiet there. So keep building off of this. I need Aaron Nola to have a good game tomorrow because, oh boy, I don't want to watch Taijuan Walker pitch against this Astros lineup. Aaron Nola, I need a gem tomorrow. Offense, please hit Justin Verlander and continue the momentum. Let's go, baby.
All right, I appreciate the phone call. And all right, maybe it is time to talk about Taijuan Walker and what we heard pregame. He's going to get another chance. And Topper, I'll summarize a little bit and give you the spark notes because I don't want anyone either, one, driving off the road, right? Because if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, which you can find, of course, if you search Sports Talk with Brodes on those platforms, if you leave a 5-star rating and a review, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much. You're the greatest in the world. I don't want you driving off of the road from hearing insanity, or I don't want you to throw up because what Rob Thompson spewed out of that mouth is disgusting. He said again, this is the second time now, he's doubling down on the fact that he truly liked Taijuan Walker's velocity his last outing. This dude gets rocked and squared up, and his exit velocity, everyone's exit velocity is 100,000,000 against him. Yeah, you love his velocity. It's a joke, Topper. And then he also expands and says something along the lines of, he's a proven veteran and he has earned the opportunity to get... You already gave him that! That's the problem, Rob. You already gave him what you're talking about. Why does he deserve another one? He's a stiff. He can't play. It is such an unserious move from the organization. You gotta sometimes eat it. It's what it is. You made a poor move. I wonder, not that it should matter, but I wonder if Rob, Dave, ask Bryce, ask Kyle, just as leaders of the team, about how they feel. Not that they make the last decision by any means, but just something that's always thrown around in sports now is the collaborative efforts. More football than anything else. But I do wonder if they're like, hey, what do you think? Because I'm trying to figure out exactly how the clubhouse feels about him. Because they love Rob. Taijuan did not love Rob. Did that get hashed out? And are they on good terms now? They don't even have to worry about it. And the locker room feels they open their arms to Taijuan after that mistake in Taijuan's eyes on how he treated the manager on Twitter. for not using him in the postseason, and they got over it? Or is there still something that's following him whenever he's around his teammates? A black cloud, if you will, because nobody can really defend that action that he did. Or does it not even matter what Kyle, Bryce, the leaders of the clubhouse think about the way they should handle their starting pitching rotation? They just need to focus on their own stuff. I have no idea, and maybe it doesn't even matter. I essentially brought all that up at the end just to throw out the question of, does his teammates like him, and do they feel it's worth giving him another crack at it? Like, I almost wonder if Rob goes, "Yeah, Bryce, yeah, Kyle, it's just them three sitting in the office, just talking out loud, sort of. How do you guys feel? What do you think? One more, or do you think it's time to go?" I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not at all. I just don't know how the clubhouse feels about him. If they liked him, they probably would say, "Yeah, go ahead." If they don't like him, they probably say, "Fuck no." Or what else are our options? I don't know. Let's go to Sean.
Are we back, Hunter? I don't know. But I do know this. To me, the playoffs start right now with this homestand. I mean, if nothing else, you can basically salt the National League East away if you take care of business against Atlanta. But you got to take care of Houston too. I truly believe that this team, in order to have a puncher's chance at winning a World Series, has to get home field advantage. So every win is critical this time of year. They dug deep and pulled one out. Again, the seemingly unwillingness to remove Taijuan Walker from the rotation leads me to believe they're not going to win the final game of this series. I don't understand why you're just willing to throw games away to prove a point when everybody and their mother knows this guy can't pitch anymore, probably including Taijuan Walker. But it is what it is. We'll worry about Wednesday. We got to get the win tomorrow and at least win this series leading up to the Atlanta weekend series.
All right, so a few things I want to throw out there. I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure a few weeks back, we also discussed, me and you, Sean, on these airwaves, about how the playoffs start now. You can remind me down below in the comments, but I'm pretty positive we already had a, quote, "the playoff starts now" moment. And maybe we didn't like what has transpired since that went down, and now we're resetting the clock. If that's the case, it's telling you everything we need to know about this group. Is we just keep being stupid. We just keep being dumb. We actually get sucked in nonstop the same way Joel Embiid and the Sixers have us right by the testes. And we're suckers. We're suckers. The Walker thing. So somebody asked me how we should treat Taijuan Walker considering he's going to be in front of 40,000 fans, and we already learned that he had to deactivate social media because there was probably, and I'm just speculating, but dumbasses who crossed the line, whether it was in his mentions or in his DMs, and I'm sure people were saying just rude things. You can question his ability to pitch. You can get mad at him for baseball reasons and say he shouldn't pitch a baseball game, but we can't be going overboard and getting to a personal level of being a terrible human, which I'd imagine that was the case, and that's why he decided to just remove himself from that hellhole. I was asked what the fan reaction should be when he's on the mound because this person just wanted to criminally abuse him vocally, not to the level of what I just mentioned on social, but let him hear it, let him have it that, you know, you've been unacceptable on the mound. And I think at this particular time, I have a bigger beef with Rob and Dave and anybody else who's helping make this decision for him to keep grabbing the ball. It's similar to if Nick Sirianni struggles this year, part of the blame's going on Howie because you set him up to fail. You put him in a position to fail. We already got the answer we were looking for. Is there something weird about the Nick Sirianni dynamic with the staff? I'm using that as an example. Well, if Taijuan Walker fails for 9,000 straight starts, at some point, Taijuan Walker is what he is, okay? He's not the one trotting back out there. The ownership knows it. The president knows it. The manager knows it. His teammates know it. Taijuan knows it. We know it. Everyone knows it. So who keeps putting him out there? There's a part of me that feels that way. Now, if he's giving up home runs left and right, you're going to boo anyway, and it probably sounds organically targeted towards him because in the moment, he's the face of it. But I don't know. For whatever it's worth, I'm starting to realize more now that it's a loser approach by the people making the decisions. Just as much as it is Taijuan, being Taijuan at times. But we know it now. So it's on you to adjust as the Phillies organization. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. Love you guys to death. I'll catch you all on the next one.